basically the same thing. Success. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna be all right. Right, I've got the keys to an M5 CS for 4 days. I'm leaving the Jazz here. Sorry BMW for slightly interrupting your lineup of nice things. But yeah, this video is going to be a slightly weird one. Does the M5 CS make sense and feel special to Joe Blogs like me? Obviously, I'll get into the specs and bits in a bit, but let's have a quick look at it. I mean, it's got a fluffy Alcantara steering wheel, so it's pretty much a winner already. In my books. It's got the seats out of the new M3, the upgraded carbon ones with the testicle tray. And of course, rather famously, it's got twin bucket seats in the back, which is very race car. But I'm going to fix that now. Ta-da! Just because I've got a 600 odd horsepower V8 doesn't mean I'm not going to daily it. And look at the back of those carbon seats. Yummy, yummy. Right, I'm going to stick my other child seat in there. Then find a place to do a quick walk around and get home before living with an M5 CS for a little while. How awesome does that look? I'm blinding myself. I need to get it home. I need to go do some work. But in the next couple of days, I'm going to be taking you on an everyman's adventure in the BMW M5 CS. I've got tomorrow off, and I plan to do as much fun driving as I can in this. The regular M5 Comp, if you're a long-time subscriber to the channel, left me a little bit cold. And everyone tells me, well, this is the daddy of everything fast saloon. I don't need to drive it, I just wanted some context for what good fast saloons are in 2023. So yeah, that's a massive explosion because there's a firing range over there. Hopefully there's no bad noises from this on the drive home. Just good V8 rumbles. Let's go. Right, it's the morning of my second day with the M5 CS. The lavender jumper is back, this time paired with a very clashy green pair of Iraqi oil dictator sunglasses. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit weird. Last night I was at an industry event, the What Car Awards, this big black tie thing in London, and actually it was quite interesting. Because as you go around the room, talk to journalists that you know, people like Alex Goy and various other people from different magazines, and PRs, in fact, and I mentioned, you know, I've got the M5 CS for a couple of days. Everyone did the same thing. Everyone's like, oh, you lucky thing. And most of the journalists I was talking to are much more successful than me. They get to drive all the latest Maseratis, Ferraris, McLarens, and a number of people said this would be their one lottery win car. If they were only allowed to buy one car after winning the lottery, it'd be an M5 CS. And to be honest, I've done about 50 miles in it. Not done an awful lot of driving in it. I haven't done any fun driving it, but already this thing is mind-blowing. It is really, really, I know, it's just a real honey of a car already. I can tell it's all together and complete, and the suspension works better than in the regular M5 Comp. It bongs at me for some reason. It's not telling me why. Oh, it's because it's cold outside. Yeah, it is. But yeah, it's one of those cars that feels all of a piece, like the engineers have just nailed the sense of, I don't know, of thoroughness. Right, let's boot it up to 70 in second gear. That's not 70. I should probably slow down because that's quite illegal. It has got, I don't know. You probably can't feel the extra 10 horsepower, but there's something about the way it changes gear that just feels way more immediate than in the M5 Competition, and it just feels a much tighter thing. It's like someone's tuned the drum up an octave and tightened the dead cat skin or whatever it is. But at the same time, if I take it out of sport mode and just put it back in road, it is way more comfy. It is way more comfy. It rides with a real, I don't know, real fluidity. It's still a firmish car, but you could absolutely daily this and not find it annoying. I'm doing, 100 miles now to the Imperial War Museum at Duxford, the best museum I've ever been to, full of planes and tanks and all that good stuff. And I should really be taking my diesel Peugeot because it is just a motorway schlep. But there's something about this that already tells me it's a great long distance car and it's going to get under my skin, and I just want to spend some time with it really. Then hopefully I will find some fun roads, stick it in 4-wheel drive sport and scare myself silly on these P0s and 3.5 degree temperatures. But yeah, so far, yeah, it's speaking to me in a way that your mum could only usually do. So yeah, really like it so far. Slightly waffly video, but going to get to the Imperial War Museum, take a photo of it with a Spitfire on a stick, maybe do a bit in the museum about a BMW Aero engine, if I can remember what the good one was. And I've read a big book about World War II piston engines, because I'm that interesting. It's called The Secret Horsepower Race. Check it out. It's quite nerdy. Goes into how the Germans built great engines, but didn't have any raw materials, so couldn't actually make them last more than 2 hours. So I'm going to unleash my inner nerd. My dad is going to be there. He's going to get to sit in a Spitfire. That's his Christmas present. And I'm just going to be dreaming about this, sat in the car park, wishing I could put it in rear-wheel drive mode, do big sick donuts in it. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be banned from the Imperial War Museum. Anywhere else, fine. Ban me from Greg's, but not the Imperial War Museum. Anyway, what the hell am I talking about? See you in a bit. Right, I've made it to Duxford in the M5 CS. There's a Hurricane on a stick over there. It's great. I can't wait to go and have a quick explore. Motorway update. It was really comfortable. My lens is really dirty, and I've got 24.5 mpg. Basically, the mileage went down 20 miles while doing 100 miles. It is great. Lovely interior. I'll do more of that when I've got a cleaner lens. There's a sick turbo on this. What do you reckon's faster, this or an M5 CS? Right, I finished my day at Duxford. Sorry, I didn't really film what I was meant to film. I got way too distracted because my dad got to sit in a airworthy Spitfire, the lucky boy. His tyres are cold. So yes, I'm going to cut to me doing some country roads near my house tomorrow and the lay-by of nonsense to show you some of the really special details about this car, including the fancy underside of the bonnet. I've turned into that person. This car has made me a nerd again, and I'm kind of grateful. Right, we're back in the lay-by of judgment, and before we take this for a proper hoon down a country road, I just want to tell you some of the things that really make this feel special in day-to-day use. This is the sensible review portion of the video. And first up is the driving position. Yeah, it kind of feels like BMW has mated the new M3 with the M5 to make this M5 CS, so you get the beautiful bucket seats out of the optional bucket seats from the new M3 and M4, and they just sit you so low. You feel like you're in a proper sports car, which actually you kind of are, and they've got illuminated M5 logos, and slightly controversially, the Nürburgring on the headrest, which I'm not a massive fan of. The steering wheel, that feels really special. Clad in Alcantara as standard. You've got your M mode buttons up here, and obviously in BMW fashion you can assign them to whatever you want in terms of driving modes, even if it's something that turns the stability control off. You just have to press it twice if you do that. It asks you to confirm it. And while we're in here, big infotainment system, wireless Apple CarPlay. It's got a wireless phone charger down there. My phone doesn't fit in it. I've got an iPhone 12 Pro Max, doesn't fit, doesn't work for me. CS badge there. One fairly major annoyance is that this doesn't open anymore. So there's probably a space under there, but I guess they've saved weight by taking the hinges out. So you can't open that, you can't store anything in there, which is, yeah, it's a little bit annoying. And my last annoyance, and there aren't really many, is BMW head-up displays don't work well with polarized sunglasses. They kind of disappear. Other brands don't have that problem, but yeah, BMW does. Right, I suppose I should probably take a child seat out because I want to show you the back seats because they're a bit special as well. Let me hop round. I'll nick the toddler's one and chuck it on the muddy floor. Yes, apologies for it being such a glary, shadowy day. There's not much I can do to control the sun, but I'm sure you can see there, you've only got two back seats and they are of a similar type to the front ones. And because the front ones are these very thin carbon fibre bucket seats, you do actually get more rear legroom than in the regular M5 Competition. It doesn't feel as dark in the back. The regular M5 seats are quite big. They block out quite a lot of light in the back. So anyway, I'll hop in and see if I can get comfortable. That is a weird feeling, dropping down so low in the back. Yeah, I feel very cosseted. However, if you've got very fat people in the back, much fatter than me, and I'm reasonably fat, they will feel yeah, a bit squidged around the old hips. But as you can see, I've got knee room, I've got leg room, I'm comfortable. I've also got 2 USB-Cs down here and various other heating and climate controls. But yeah, the back seat of this does feel special. It does feel like BMW's built this to be a Nürburgring taxi, paying punters or paying punters to be flung around the Nürburgring. And if I shut the back door, yeah, it still feels luxurious. And I've got a high-spec Harman Kardon, said it right, sound system. Fine, calm and hard on. So yeah, it does still feel luxurious. And I did a big motorway journey in this yesterday. Just really, really quiet, nice and refined. And that V8 disappears into the background when you want it to. Anyway, I'm going to show you the boot and then under the bonnet, and then we will hit the country roads. The M5 CS does have a boot space. It's 530 odd litres. It's the same size as an irregular M5, but it doesn't open electrically. You've got to do it manually with your hands, you poor thing. But anyway, that's boring. Let's look at the engine. On the way to the engine, I should show you the chassis. It's dropped 7 mil. It's got the shocks from the M8 Grand Coupe. It's just got better body control than the regular M5 Competition. Ceramic brakes save 23 kilos, and this whole car is 70 kilos lighter than the M5 Comp. 1,825 kilograms, and obviously it's got forged alloy wheels. But anyway, let's remember which side the engine release is on and pull it twice. It's on the other side. You've got the special BMW anniversary badge on the bonnet and on the wheels as well. And this is very, very light. It's got M5 CS embedded in the carbon. Yeah, this car is very carbon fibery. There's the 4.4 litre V8 in all its majesty there. It's not an awful lot to look at, to be honest, but it does absolutely fill the engine bay. 635 horsepower, which is up 10 horsepower from before, 750 newton meters of torque, which goes on a bit longer than in the M5 Competition. 3 seconds dead to 62, 189 miles an hour flat out. But anyway, let's actually go and drive the bloody thing on some country roads. Yeah, this video's gone on too long. We've been to Duxford. We've been everywhere. You've seen my dad. It's all got a bit weird, but that's what I do. Right, I'm going to go for a drive on country roads now in the M5 CS. And I just want to point out, it's 4 degrees. So if you're expecting me to test the rear wheel drive mode in which you have to turn absolutely everything fully off, then, well, I would say I'm going to disappoint you, but I can show you how compromised it is now. I am in rear wheel drive mode. Everything is switched off. There's just yeah, it's not accelerating, and the tyres are spinning quite a lot. So I'm going to put it back in M dynamic mode, because when I drove the M5 Competition, that's the mode that excited me the most. If you leave it in standard mode, it feels like an Audi RS6. You can boot it down a wet, bumpy road, and it will track straight and true, and you'll get to where you're going really, really quickly. But if you actually want it to feel a little bit more fun, stick it in M dynamic mode. It's easy for me to say. And it will allow you to exit a corner neutrally, which means sliding a little bit, but being looked after. It just comes alive a bit more. But yeah, this car is absolutely ferocious, and I can't really show you it here because it's a 40 limit. So check back in a second. Right, just before we do our country road, I want to show you how ferociously fast this car is. I'm at a standstill. I'm just going to mash the accelerator. And yeah, 40, 50, 60. That's yeah, it's 3 seconds dead to 62 miles an hour. But that's not really the most impressive thing. It's just how you've always got power. It's got so much response in the mid-range. You don't have to be in a low gear. You've just got instant, brutal acceleration. And I think this is probably the most performant, i.e. powerful feeling V8 of any of the German manufacturers. It's been a while since I drove an AMG, but this just really blitzes any of the 4-litre V8s from the Volkswagen group, possibly with the exception of the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. That felt bananas, but this just has more response, more anger, more instant punch, and it is just really, really impressively fast. Unfortunately, I am stuck behind a Lexus. Right, let's go. I love the way in M dynamic mode it still slithers about a bit. It feels much more rear biased when you've got it in 4-wheel drive sport. And if I owned one of these, I would leave it in four-wheel drive sport in M dynamic mode. Don't be put off by the fact it puts the traction control off light on the dashboard. It has still got your back. Now, I do wish they would do what the four-wheel drive M3 has done, which is let you make it rear-wheel drive but retain some stability and traction control, because this is just pointless in rear-wheel drive. You can't put any power down and it's just terrifying. Through that big compression, the body is so well controlled. I would say the steering doesn't give you much in the way of feel. It's still a very modern car in that sense. Steering wheel feels lovely, it's not too thick, but you just don't really have that intimate faith in the front end. You have to work up to it and just get used to it over time. Now, one thing that has really impressed me on this car are the brakes. They are, they're absolutely phenomenal, but they're not just powerful, they're really controllable. It's got a nice firm pedal and it almost feels like you're driving a Porsche RS product, which is possibly the best thing I can say about any car's brakes. This thing in the corners is lovely. I love the way in M dynamic mode you can exit a corner with a tiny little slide on. It feels very direct. You feel completely in control, thanks in part to these seats, and it just feels like a friendly hooligan. I'm kind of at a loss for words to say how good this feels. I have driven mid-engined rear-wheel drive sports cars that aren't as fun down a twisty road as an 1800 kilo 4-seat saloon. It is a ludicrous thing. Really good fun. I mean, 1825 kilos, that's kind of lightweight these days, isn't it? I mean, I know on Evo Car of the Year they weighed that Maserati MC whatchamacallit and it was 1700. And yeah, this is stomach churning. I love everything about this. I don't love the fact that my phone doesn't fit in the wireless charger, but you know, if I'm spending 150 grand on a BMW, I'll probably let that slide and just get a cable and just put up with it. Exquisite car. Really can't say enough good things about this. So yes, it was worth the hype. I'm going to pop back the lay-by and do a slightly more concise outro. And I thank you for tolerating my length of this video. So I don't really need to do a conclusion, do I, about the M5 CS, but actually I probably should. It's quite hard to get out of with those bucket seats. But yeah, one of my favourite cars of all time. It just really nails the whole super saloon, hyper saloon thing. It's ferocious. It's got a response from that engine that makes an RS6 feel like you're flogging a dead kipper. It is just a beautiful thing. The chassis does everything it needs to now. It can be soft, it can be super sharp, and it can be playful but not intimidating. The power is ferocious, the comfort, the fact it feels special inside, you sit on the floor like a go-kart. BMW, if you make the next M5 like this as standard, you'll sell 1 billion of them to people like me. And apparently you're going to do an estate version next time as well. And you've got to do that because I've said it now. But yeah, M5 CS, absolutely worth the money. I would say it's worth 40 grand over the M5 Competition. It nails it. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, if this has been helpful in your quest for your new family saloon car, please hit like, and if you buy one of these, please let me know, because I want all your money, frankly. Do subscribe to the channel if it's been entertaining. There's plenty more sensible family car reviews coming soon. Go down to the comments and leave me the German word for a house with 4 seats in it. Goodbye.